Uh,
Hello?
Hi.
Let me pull up the chat on my browser so then I'll be signed in on. I'm gonna be signed in on my account.
Uh, okay, it's still
Yo, it's
there.
Monday. We're
Let me.
45 minutes late, but you know,
Oh, yep. Yeah, we're
just gotta
live.
watch One Piece. Oh shit! You know what? I should play the fucking. Hold on.
Are you ready?
I can pause it.
No, just
I
do
can't play that
it.
version. I can't play that version. Okay.
Oh, are you playing the fucking opening?
This what a good
It was
stream.
an old version.
Oh no. Oh God, what's the?
I'm just waiting for
Why?
Crafts to see it. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him to see it.
All right. No, I see it. I see it. Like I'm watching it. It was gone. Now it's gone, and I saw why you stopped doing it.
Yeah, old version. Old version. Okay. Hello, everyone. Look, we're getting used to it. This is the first time where it's a
Streaming.
learning
Yeah.
process. New streamer here. I've never streamed anything in my life before.
Don't. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Turn on my speaker. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me look at this. I guess there's an echo. Talk.
Walk and hear and words and Vindy is my friend and
Teehee?
Okay, it should be fixed now. All right. Cool. We are here. Should we go over the comments from the last one just to fucking do it?
Really? This guy.
You know,
Uh,
those comments deserve as much of a chance as any other comments do of being read. Just
oh
like,
God.
okay. Hold on, let me check.
Well, I already deleted my shortcut to the Reddit, so no, I didn't. Never
Hold
mind.
on. Yeah, well, I just type it in the full thing every time because I would never have a shortcut to Reddit on my computer.
That's a good fucking point, and I've been exposed.
Fucking got his ass. Okay. I don't know if I care about any of these comments. I don't even know what we talked about. Like, I'm looking
You
at something-
fucking just.
Someone's saying I'm spitting, and I can't even tell you why. So I think I'm not going to. Okay, so do we want to just jump right? I mean, hello everyone. How are y'all doing, chat? You know what I'm gonna do? Hold on. Chat, keep talking. I'm gonna. Or y'all. Someone say something.
Well, me too. Oh, I'm speaking on fucking AirPods because my fucking internet is like I'd be even worse and laggier if I was speaking on my shit like normal. So yeah, because my internet connection doesn't work as well as it used to.
Craftsdwarf,
So
you're like 55 years old. You don't need to be using AirPods. I'm sorry.
my work gave them to me for free. So yeah.
Okay.
This one.
Anyway, so yeah. How are you guys doing? I haven't talked to Vindy in a minute.
Yeah, I've been chilling. I mean, I moved.
Nice.
Been busy with that. I've also been kind of a monster, like, cause like I moved and then like I don't have internet, and if like people don't remember or don't know, when I go a period of time without internet, I turn into a fucking monster in terms of like finishing things. Like I only did have internet for like a week, but like, the last time I didn't have internet, I finished like a game a day. I was a psychopath. This time I only finished one game, but it was a long as fuck game. So like it took me the whole time I didn't have internet to like sit through. But I finished. Like we'll get to it, I guess, later on in the stream. But I've been playing a bunch of games. That's mostly it. But I just been chilling. Got back into Final Fantasy 14. Let my addiction to that just completely take over my life. But I have a T-Rex mount and a monkey mount. So who's really winning? You know?
Oh, so you can do Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah. What are we gonna talk about first?
We can just go right into the One Piece live action. I'm fine with that.
I mean, I literally just walked out of the first episode. And
walked out.
I had a fun fucking time. No, I finished it. I finished it, but I had a good fucking time. It was really fun. I was super into it the whole hour. So yeah.
I would say, especially like I don't know if I was not expecting it to be. I was very like cautiously optimistic maybe about the series. I was not. I didn't think it was gonna be good. Kinda. I had everything. I feel like leading up to it had me.
Well, when I first heard about it, and even just thinking about like, oh, good anime adaptations, where are they? Especially not from Western, in English.
Yeah.
Right. So like, but then I think the first trailer, I was kind of like, okay, and the second trailer kind of got me excited, and I've been like, kind of like, I didn't see the last trailer, and so now and then I watched the first episode, and I was just super into it like the whole time. And definitely some moments of like, that's a weird change that they made. But at least for some of them, I definitely feel like, okay, I can understand why they made that change, because just like they have to make it's only 8 episodes, so the way they restructured certain things, and sort of like taking certain ideas in different ways is kind of neat. But and it was just like fun and funny, and it made me laugh. So yeah, I was into it.
Yeah. Or you can go on.
No, yeah, I was gonna say like it was like fun. Like I wasn't super focused on like, oh, is it gonna match the manga or is it gonna match the anime? Like I just wanted it to be like fun and enjoyable in its own way. And it mostly did that, even if there were some like things that stood out as a little bit odd. Particularly I know it's a pirate manga, but it's so piratey, like in a way that feels weird.
In a positive way. I think it's actually super smart and super good, and I love it.
Yeah, no, it's
charming, but also it's like off-putting. But I don't have quite a problem with it, even if it is like a little Pirates of the Caribbean. Like
here's gonna be my argument for why I think it's probably a lot smarter to do it that way. Which is just like, if they're making it and it's gonna be sitting on Netflix, and there's a chance that any random person who has never heard of One Piece before is gonna turn it on, I think if they're gonna be getting something about pirates, because I know like knowing it was a series about pirates, One Piece tonally kind of threw me off when I first like read it, because it isn't very piratey, or at least not what you think of like, in terms of like coming from a Western perspective when you think about like a pirate series, right? You're gonna be thinking like, yeah, like a Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that, right? Like a Treasure Island, whatever. And I think that like the Netflix series capturing that, first of all, makes it feel like it's very much a Western take on One Piece. It's an American adaptation of it, which helps it. And then I think also it'll help it if any random person, because the series is going to do well, and like where it's really going to tell us if it can bring more people into One Piece through like some random like fucking grandpa is going to his Netflix and sees it number 3 most watched in the US and just turns it on, right? And I think in that instance, the pirate series feeling like Pirates of the Caribbean is going to be a lot easier for someone like that to ingest and get really, really into, as opposed to like if it was like, oh, this is a pirate series, and then it's just a live action Looney Tunes cartoon,
Right, like even I was literally just thinking about how okay, well, what if someone gets interested and they just check out the most recent episode to see what's going on, and they see fucking like Dragon Ball over Japan, and they're like, what? Like that just doesn't make any sense. But that's One Piece for you, right? And yeah, they were just like like one of the first weird things that happened was like how they handled Kobe was definitely pretty different from the manga. Like he didn't go like he didn't proclaim his ambition with the Alvida stuff, right? But so I was like, oh, okay, that's odd that they're but that made sense for the first episode, because like the arc of the first episode was basically Kobe's in a sense. Like it's all obviously doing all these introducing the first 3 Straw Hats, and building up to like there's a bunch of references to fucking Baroque works that we won't see till season 2 really, but like and yeah, so it just I just thought it was neat, like yeah.
Yeah, I do think that like Zoro, I want to see a little bit more of him, because like I'm curious of like how they'll handle like the moments where he is like a little goofier and a little bit more like getting in on like Luffy's like antics in his own Zoro way.
I agree. I think he was my least favorite of the casting, like just in this first episode, and like I could be super wrong, right? But I feel like, at least like from my like perspective on the characters, I feel like Zoro like is a little bit more emotional of a character. You know what I mean? Like in my head, when I picture Zoro, he's
Yeah.
yelling a lot of the time. Like Zoro isn't like, he's not like a calm, like always saying everything with like the cool,
No, yeah,
guy. Like he gets
Because
he
even
is
in
really
like his
different.
introduction,
Yeah.
I
and
feel
he
like there
starts
are some
screaming.
moments
Yeah,
where he like
he gets mad
does
and
stuff like that.
because he's a fucking stupid drunk asshole. Like he gets mad and he's fucking yelling at people. You know what I mean? Like
No, they definitely play him up as like the fact he's a samurai. They definitely play up that angle more. So like
that's fair.
um, right. And I mean like he's still like funny. Like when like fuck like the way they do Helmuppo with his like because his haircut after Zoro cut it looks slightly more like his manga haircut. So and then that like seeing Luffy and Zoro react to that was pretty good. So like yeah, he's not like dry, like he's not a full samurai, but he's definitely more like that. And also because one of the things I think about with Zoro is because like he's not one of my favorite Straw Hats, but everyone who I know, like my friend, former coworker who I talk to a lot, who his Zon's his or no, Zoro's his favorite character,
Yeah.
in One Piece, and one of the big reasons he likes him is just because he's fucking cool. And so watching the episode, it's like, well, okay, they're gonna, what do Zoro fans like? Zoro being cool. So and that's kind of what I felt in
what
most
people
of his
think
scenes. It's just like,
Zoro
damn,
is, though, more than like
that's a good
the
point.
full
Yeah,
part
like
of what
it's
Zoro is
not,
right
it's
now.
yeah,
But
it's definitely not manga Zoro, but it's like it
it's
is what
Hollywood
people
Zoro,
like about
I
Zoro.
think.
So yeah,
That's the best way I could feel like I could describe it, is like he's more Hollywood Zoro, where like and
Mhm.
I don't want to try to like analyze why when you're making Zoro cool you can't make him like an emotional loud
Mhm.
asshole, but like in the manga that like is Zoro to me, right? But that also
For sure.
that
Yeah.
relies on like Zoro. I think is of the Straw Hats the one who like is like kind of a delinquent in some way. You know what I mean? And whatever. Yeah, I think that like
Mhm.
they can't go into all that, and so I understand that like it's the Hollywood version of Zoro, right? If you're just gonna make him a cool character and make him the cool badass fighter, then yeah, whatever. Like you lean in this way. I think the one thing that could change, that if they lean harder into it as a dynamic, I could see them using that to change Zoro, which is why I don't want to say too far right now. Which is when Sanji shows up, if they lean really hard into like him and Sanji fighting all the time, I could see them using that to start making Zoro goofier, as well as I imagine if we see more of him, we'll start to see more and more of him just being like the world's second dumbest
Especially,
man after Luffy.
well, we'll see how. I'm curious as to how they do because there's the one shot from the second trailer with Zoro and Sanji sort of like they fight and they end up like close to each other. So like I feel like how they do the Zoro Sanji dynamic might factor into that could be a thing, but it might not. So another thought I thought was interesting about how they're handling Zoro is because I'd also watched about I watched 17 episodes of the One Piece anime recently, and one thing I was thinking about with Zoro is just how different the way he joins is compared to literally every other Straw Hat. Because like, so every Straw Hat except for Zoro, like they're all trapped and held back by something, and they're not going after their dream until they join Zoro, and they also or until they join Luffy. Wow, I'm getting my names fucked up today. Holy shit. Um, so, but then Zoro, well, they also join Luffy of their own volition, where Zoro kind of gets forced onto Luffy's crew in a sense, in the sense of like, hey, here's your swords, join me, or I guess you're gonna get executed by these Marines. And Zoro's like, okay, fuck you, I'll join you, right? But like but also it's just interesting because like Zoro's also been the one who's like never left, of the early Strats at least, who's never left the crew or anything, and he's also the only one aside from Luffy who he was already out on his own trying to become the best swordsman in the world, basically, right? Like he was following his own ambition, and so I just think about how that's interesting for Zoro. But then how they changed it here, where it's like he's kind of already doing his he was Baroque Works and the Marines were trying to recruit him, and Luffy, so was Luffy, and they're like, everyone except Luffy was like, okay, you don't want to join us, you die, basically, and Luffy's just like, okay, I'll free you, bye, and obviously Zoro had a reaction to that, and so that was neat.
Yeah. Really quickly, Azra, so season 1 goes through. So I'm not sure because we haven't seen it, but I was looking at the episode like whatevers, and episode 8 looks like it's this, which is the final episode of the season, is the second half of Arlong Park. So I don't know if it'll be like quick Arlong Park and then Logtown, or if it'll end on Arlong Park, but it at least I assume touches through that. I would assume you end on Logtown and then after that you would just do like whatever, like a saga season, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think we all still have 7 episodes left. So another thing I thought was different about Luffy, because like in the Kobe Alvida chapter, my big takeaway was that like Luffy doesn't actually fight for Kobe until he stands up for himself. But in the Netflix one, Luffy just helps Kobe of his own volition, just because like it's like he's sort of operating as like for freedom, like right, like that was Alvida's a tyrant, Morgan's a tyrant, and Luffy is just like if he sees people who aren't free, he just helps them, which is again it's different from manga Luffy. In a sense, because he tends to only fight for people who are have the will to, or or either they help him or give him food, or they have the will to fight on their own, so he's a little bit different, but I still thought like
Luffy says in the episode he helped Kobe because Kobe ate with him.
That's true. You're right. But yeah,
I do also think in general that this Luffy is for sure like overall like kinder, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. Like I do think like for a live action Luffy, that's probably unavoidable. Like I feel like if you fully went in on like how much of an ass he can be, it would be kind of
he has some of those edges sanded off, which I agree makes sense, because I feel like if you went all the way into the side of Luffy, like where like sometimes he can just be oblivious or not care about other people's pain, if he feels like there's a reason, where whatever, right, where like like where he's okay with Kobe eating it, like taking stuff until he fights back or whatever. They definitely, I feel like, like sanded off some of those edges to Luffy's character, which makes sense, because you also just, I think, don't have the time in the series to be as nuanced with it, right? Like, it's not just, I think, the difference between live action and the manga. It's also just, like, the difference in how much time you have, where you can make a way more nuanced Luffy when you have, like, 1,000 manga chapters to work with, and to constantly be showing all these different little aspects to him, versus...
Right.
If you're doing, 8-episode seasons and you don't know how many you have, you kind of just have to show, like, the core of the character, and you can't show, like, the really unique and interesting parts of his, like, ethos, just because you don't have the time to...
At least not in one season, right? Or at least one episode for sure, right? Like, because it's definitely, like, I don't know, if it's successful enough, then, they at least have laid the groundwork for more in just episode 1. But yeah, some moments I like that definitely, like, that made me laugh was... when he first gets out of the barrel and he just like grabs Kobe by the shoulders and is like, knock it off, stop screaming. Like I thought of that when you mentioned like Luffy maybe not caring about other people's like feelings sometimes. And then of course like when they were on the boat and Kobe's like, my dream is stupid, and Luffy just fucking slaps him, like that fucking makes me laugh. Because dreams aren't stupid, but he just fucking does it. So I thought it was funny.
But yeah.
You guys have more to say? Because I have a couple points, but
I was just gonna say,
yeah,
we kind of been touching on it, but like we all agree that like the Luffy casting and like just like his performance, and for the most part, I think the way he's written is like, I actually would say like 10 out of 10. Like stand out from the episode.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I would not.
No,
say
I genuinely
that.
would. Like
I would
think
say
he's
it's
actually
good.
like
Solid, but
like perfect. Like it is exactly what I would want like a live action Luffy to be, and I feel like he actually like captures the character really well. Like
I thought it was silly.
I want to watch more of the show just for him.
That he's there's definitely ways he's different. Like I was thinking about when he was in the base and being a little like he's very bad at it still, but he's like at the deception part.
Yeah.
But he's not like manga Luffy bad, right? Like he like manga Luffy can't tell a lie to save his life, where at least he could play, Netflix Luffy can play along a little bit. But even that, like when they were cracking the safe and what was it? Nami said something, and Luffy was like, "Yeah, I knew that." And
there were like the other pirates, right? Like,
oh, that's right.
Like,
yes, there's an
sarcastic said, there's another, thief and pirate, and he like didn't get.
Luffy's like, "Yeah,
but
what are the
difference
chances?"
in that between like the live action Luffy and like manga Luffy is manga Luffy would never have like had the moment of self reflection and understanding the sarcasm, right? He would have just kept going along, and 2 chapters later, he would have made a joke like, "Where's the other pirate and thief?" And everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah. Also, there was also another moment during that scene where Nami, because Luffy mentioned the One Piece, and Nami was like, "Oh, chasing after something that you'd never seen and that might not exist." And I thought about how like that factors into her character, especially during like Skypiea, where she's like going along with it, but she also just kind of thinks the Skyland shit is really fucking stupid, right?
Mhm.
Or just like just that one line just really like fit that aspect of the character really well. So I just had a moment of like, oh, that's cool. Also Helmeppo, I thought he was pretty fucking good. Like, he was
I agree.
fucking just this.
He was
So
like, yeah.
he, when Zoro comes in and he's fucking using two swords style and he hides with the fucking stuffed animal, I was fucking like, well, because first I saw him like his bare chest and I was like, I don't like where this is going, and it went exactly where I thought it was gonna go, and I was like, oh god. Yeah, so that was funny. Um, uh,
I
God.
did kind of like
Um,
some of the choices in what they cut. Like I know it's like unfortunate that like you know Kobe doesn't like stand up to Luffy and that like he like punches like Luffy at some point in the manga.
yes,
That
right,
doesn't
because
happen.
yes, yeah.
But like I feel like what they showed of Kobe was like enough to get the point across while also having
Mhm.
the like trio of the original Straw Hats like focused on in this episode.
Yeah, I feel like in order to give Kobe more of a role, like an already long episode would just have to be even longer. And I think this, especially the thing you have to consider with the length, is just that like it seems like a very expensive production, right? Like just because with the special effects budget and the sets and the fuck, like it took a long time to make. So I don't know what the actual like numbers are like, but just like having to make like it's only 8 episodes, and so there have I'm just kind of just gonna ride with the concessions because I understand that like it's probably not really feasible to do that much more as is. So um,
I did think like some of the Alvida stuff wasn't like that good. Like I kind of didn't like that the scene was like at night. Like I don't mind it changing the time of day, like, but like I don't know, like it had that weird thing of like kind of too dark. I can't see as much as I wanted to
yeah,
see. Um, and also I do think like Alvida was like probably the weakest part of the episode, her actor in particular. But I mean, Alvida's not really like a standout part of the manga anyway.
yeah.
Um,
Her getting punched off the boat made me laugh though. So because she just fucking flew. Uh, yeah. So I do have one complaint about the episode that's going to completely alienate everyone. Uh, they gave Bogart speaking lines.
Who?
Yeah, that's why I said completely alienate everyone. So he was the guy in the suit who was with Garp at the end of the episode. He's been in the manga, like you kind of just don't. He's that guy who's always with Garp who you don't really see his eyes. He's got a name, and he's never fucking said a fucking word in the entire manga.
I
So
don't know what
I
you're
was
talking about.
just yeah.
Also, yeah, I super agree with Christina Walker in chat. I fucking hate Joker Buggy. That's so bad. It's so bad.
It was very Heath Ledger. I'll see how I feel in the next when we
yeah.
actually see him. But
Maybe I could
yeah.
change my mind, and there definitely is still time before I think it would really, really matter. But I feel like the Buggy joke, as it is in like current One Piece, like say best case scenario for live action One Piece happens, right? And it goes a while, it goes through like, whatever, like till current or even finishes. If they get to like the current Buggy joke, I feel like it just does not work. If he's like Joker clown as opposed to like clown
for
clown.
sure.
Like he's supposed to be a goofy little circus clown, not and like I don't see how the current joke with Buggy where like everyone thinks he's the GOAT except for people who know him on like a personal basis. I just think falls apart if he's the Joker.
I think because like we'll really see how it goes in the upcoming episode because in the manga he is like in that arc he is framed as being much more serious and dangerous than obviously
You're right.
current Buggy is, but he still has those like the moments where we see him at a weaker point or putting on airs, like especially in the Shanks flashback where like he just accidentally eats the fruit. because Shanks scares him basically. Like that's literally like he literally like cuts off his own dreams and is pissed about Shanks because Shanks startled him. And right, so it's like, so how are they going to frame that with Heath Ledger Joker? Right, that's the question, I suppose. Because if they do frame him more seriously, then like it's not like, yeah, I totally agree with you, and that's not going to work. But then if we see more sides to it, this portrayal, then you know, maybe that'll alleviate that concern. But we will find out next episode, because I have not. I
Yeah,
don't
if
think
I
any
had
of
to
us have watched it.
guess,
So
like it would probably play out in a way where like, you know, he does come across as like Joker, like it's kind of a little weird, but like Luffy will probably take the wind out of his sails and like kind of reveal that other side to him.
That's fair.
Probably.
I can understand, like,
Luffy kicks
once
him in
he
the balls,
loses.
10 out of 10.
I agree. Okay, I can understand that. Like, once he loses to Luffy, the like Joker, like dark, edgy side gets dropped because you realize it's like a facade. That could work super well. Okay, so if he's actually like if he's like a Joker poser and is a bumbling idiot, that actually goes crazy. And in that instance, I think the buggy joke is actually maybe even stronger than it is in the manga. If like he's just pretending to be Heath Ledger Joker, that goes crazy.
I agree.
That actually goes hard. I like that.
So speaking of the future, my only fear right now is it's the same fear that I had when I heard that casted a black person as Arlong. I just kind of, if they cast every fishman as a black, look, if they cast every fishman as a black person, like, please don't do that. Like, just
it
like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
Well, especially because the Western conversation around Fishman Island was so heavily focused on the association with, you know, American black and versus white racial issues, when there have been other there was someone on my server who grew up in the Middle East, and they had in some ways I thought way more apt comparisons to like Hody Jones and his crew that he personally connected to really hard, that are nothing like any of the, you know, the racial issues in America, right? Like there's multiple different drawn upon racial groups in the Fishmen, so I just don't want them to be cast as a uniform racial group that we would recognize, like, Americans in particular.
Minorities for the most part, but yeah, it would be weird if it was just like mostly fucking
right. Especially
people.
when in the casting, like the casting for like the Straw Hats is pretty fucking diverse. Like, you know, not casting, you know, Luffy's actor as a white guy, right? And casting, you know, like so it would just be really weird to juxtapose, and even just in general with the side cast, like, you know, fucking Lucky Roo is black, you know, like there's just a lot of diversity in the casting, so it'd be really just weird for the Fishmen to not have that. And yeah, I see in the comments there's apparently the screenwriter dislikes Fishman Island, which is a big
he did a tier list. He did a tier list. We can talk about it if you want, Krabs. I don't know if you saw this posted.
I didn't see the tier list. I just saw people.
I saw it posted in a Discord server here. Let me try to grab it. I don't know where the fuck did it get posted.
I'll find it. I think it was the voice channel.
That's where I thought it was too, but then I scrolled up and didn't see it. So now I'm thinking that's not the case. Is it a Western shit?
Right, because that would be where.
Yeah, it is. I see it. Okay, I got it. Here, let me try to find a way to get this on stream for y'all.
Oh, I just pulled it up on my own.
Here. And then what do I fucking hold on? Let me.
Part of it is also just me disagreeing with the tier list, because like I don't consider Reverie like its own arc.
But we'll get into that. We'll that's part of the fun. Is that's part of the fun of talking about One Piece arc tier lists, is getting into the the autism
the
of
division,
like what even what is an
Ah!
arc.
God damn it. Yeah, go ahead and bring it up.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm pulling it up on stream right now. Sorry, that took me a second. Shit like that's hard. I'm stupid and it's hard. Okay. Yeah, so I pulled it up. This is the only way. I know that I had to have here. We'll put like to the side. There's just no way to get this image. Okay. So he has Syrup Village at the bottom and Fishman Island at the bottom, which, like, okay. Or
See, like,
yeah,
I literally had a great fucking time watching the Syrup Village arc, so I don't even know. I would not give it a D.
I think
I mean, I can kind of understand it.
yeah.
I can kind of understand it.
I'll
You know,
give
also,
you
'cause, like,
I'll give you the shit that I told he who shall not be named genuinely a long time ago when I like ratioed the fuck out of him on Twitter about tier list, which is like the bottom of a tier list does not mean that it is bad or that in like that actual letter grade. You put at the bottom of a tier list what is the bottom in that thing, because a tier list is that in a vacuum, right? You're not comparing the arcs in this tier list to arcs outside of the tier list, right? It's just this in this instance. So in that case, like the letter doesn't matter, I think, as much as like where things are ranked, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because going off of this, like, as far as like ignoring the ones that shouldn't be separated, like probably the one that I put towards the bottom, if not at the bottom, would be Zoe, because it's like it's got a couple good moments and some neat exposition, but it's just not like it's the fucking lead into Whole Cake Island.
No,
like,
I'd still have.
Yeah.
I would absolutely put Syrup Village at the bottom. There is nothing wrong with that take. That is a fine take.
Okay.
Like
No,
Zoe,
I don't really.
Zoe makes me cry easily. Fishman Island doesn't, or Syrup Village doesn't. I mean, Fishman Island does, but Syrup Village doesn't. Because that moment, the fucking NECA, yeah. You know the moment. The moment.
Oh yeah.
Is so fucking good that like that, and then also I think that's a really good Nico Robin arc. Like the moment with like Ria Nusuke when they're climbing it, and then that protector moment, like she just like carries that arc way harder than she has any right to, for how short it is. But she just has a bunch of really good moments in the arc, and the Raizo is safe moment is just it clears like. But yeah, Fishman Island is the worst arc. Is like an abomination against God.
It's so fucking good. It's like it's top 5, if not top 3. I mean, deciding on top One Piece arc for me is really hard because they're all phenomenal.
As far as the anime adaptation goes, putting Amazon Lily above Fishman Island is like insane. Like
that's crazy. Yeah, I agree. Like it's Amazon Lily is cool, but it's not amazing.
Yeah. Like it near the bottom works. I think it makes a lot of sense. Because, like, most of the joke of Amazon Lily is just, like, Luffy doesn't know what sex is. He's, like, Goku. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Romance Dawn, sure. Reverse Mountain's just part of fucking Whiskey Peak, honestly.
I'm fine with putting Reverse Mountain. I consider Laboon its own thing. Because the Laboon stuff and Whiskey Peak are pretty different. And I think putting Reverse Mountain, like, near the bottom is fine.
That's also... Oh, if it's on... It's, like, my least favorite arc. If we're counting it as an arc, so... I kind of Reverse Mountain. It's fucking. It's fine.
Marimo, I would agree with you. I would just say that Zoe being as good as it is just speaks to how good post time skip One Piece is. Right? Like again, I don't know if this is true in the anime, obviously, because like I've heard some fucking horror stories about especially like Dressrosa.
And Dressrosa's still really fucking good.
But
I'll defend that till I die.
I respect that. But like I think post time skip One Piece just like clears pre time skip at this point so fucking hard it's not close.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Speaking of Return to Sabati, I don't know. I think that arc's really fun.
It's part of Fishman Island, I would say.
It's very hard to classify that as its own arc.
I would agree, but I think if you're going to classify it on its own, I think you then, like, if you're going to classify it, my problem with like classifying some of those small arcs as, like, different arcs is, like, if you're going to do that, you have to take it for what it is. So if you're going to look at Return to Sabati as its own thing, then you have to recognize that all it is quick reintroductions to the characters. And in that case, I think it goes crazy. There's so many good little jokes in Return to Sabati, like, the whole time. Mm-hmm. Every Straw Hat gets, like, a good moment showing their new design, showing what they can do now. You get great, like, jokes and, like, running gags playing along. And it, like, sets up the next leg of the adventure. So, like, I don't know. It's hard because that arc's so hard to rate on its own. But then, like, if you're going to, I feel like it, you know.
Wano and B is fucking L because Wano,
disgusting.
Like it's my favorite arc right now. Like it's
it's the goat.
It's 157 chapters of straight fucking fire.
It is.
Oh my god.
Thank God, I was scared you're gonna say the K slur.
If you like, yeah, I mean it just is everything great about One Piece in an arc, and is like the clear like peak so far of like what One Piece is about. You know what I mean? Like no other arc hits in like every single way, especially for like a final fight for Luffy. Like if that's what you care about, like no fight he has, I think, hits that level of just like being what the character is about, like the fucking Kaido fight does. You know?
I think like the only thing I could say that I understand people caring for it less is that like because it still has great Straw Hat stuff. Like almost everyone gets some really good stuff, even if like Chopper doesn't get a fight, but he's still got some like really very good Chopper moments. He's got even in the climax and the fighting, he still has a very notable role. Like, but it's like obviously if you were to compare it to like say Water 7, like the inter-crew drama is really fucking good. And Wano doesn't really have that, so I understand when people like certain like.
I guess that's fair.
I mentioned this comparison before. Liking One Piece arcs is kind of the same as liking Pokemon generations, where it's just kind of about what you value more.
Yeah, it's a personality test more than a.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I guess that's fair. Because like I'm sure you would agree with this, Crafts. It's like the same reason I don't love One Piece movie 6, the Osada one that everyone loves.
Yes,
where it's like I don't like crew drama in One Piece because I feel like while there is really good crew drama most of the time when it's done, the series is at its best when the crew is on the same page and working together. Like under Luffy, I feel like is a lot of times where you get like your strongest moments. Even like Ain's Lobby is like so strong, like those moments are so strong because it's in spite of the crew drama, they're still coming together, you know?
I also think what I understand with movie 6 is especially when you compare, because obviously Water 7 and Ain's Lobby hadn't like happened yet.
Yeah.
But when you compare the crew drama in in Water 7 to the movie stuff just seems really fucking petty. So I understand being like bothered by it. You know, so if that it was your problem, which I don't fully remember.
It basically is that like I feel like it feels off brand for One Piece for them to, for as simple a reason, like it sounds like it shouldn't work like this, but One Piece makes it clear time and time again that it does, that for like something as simple as Luffy putting their lives in danger, they would not stop following him, and that is like the entire conflict of that movie. So it just like feels weird to go back to now.
Well, the one I mostly remember, Usopp like used a fucking flying thing on, or like he got Nami out of the thing, and she was pissed about that, and she was ignoring him because they were doing the boat race thing, and Usopp fucked up. And,
well, no, there's that
Nami
too, but like remember they all get like pissed at Luffy.
I don't actually remember that, so it must.
That was my biggest. That was my biggest issue with it, was that like they were all getting pissed at Luffy, and I was like, why are like this is like. Like, I know it's before Water 7 and 9's Lobby, so clearly before, like, the first Sabati, but, like, you know, after that arc, I just can't take anything where it's like, oh, Luffy put the crew's lives in danger, and they're mad at him for it. Like,
right, no, I agree.
They don't give a shit.
Okay. But anyway, I guess next is Orangetown, right? On just going in order.
Well, I guess going in order, you would go from the bottom to the top. So next would actually be like, you know, so if we're actually doing it, then he went from Amazon Lily to Wano and has returned to Sabati, Little Guard, Reverse Mountain, and Romance Dawn above Wano. So that's fucking disgusting.
I was kind of going by tiers.
But yeah, like actually looking at it correctly, disgusting to actually put Wano as the fourth worst arc. But
right.
then
absolutely.
I mean, even if it's not ordered within tiers, there's no way Romance Dawn is the same level as like Wano or like Return to Saboti when it's just like introductions and like
that's
fun little things.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even putting them on the same tier list is bonkers. But yeah, so the next is Zoe, which like is fine. I mean, like it has good moments.
Funk Hazard is definitely like, as far as like full arcs, it is my least favorite post time skip arc, but it still has some interesting stuff that I got out of it. You know, and I have not gone back to it with like, I mean, obviously I've gone back to it knowing like the Kinemon and Momonosuke shit, but I really didn't click with their characters as much until I reread Wano for the Nen show, especially Momo. So I haven't gone back to that arc like knowing and really feeling the full scope of Wano. So I'm kind of, especially no, but I do fucking love. It's honestly possibly one of my favorite moments in the series, and it just kind of gets better the more of One Piece like there is. But Law, his speech to Virgo when he cuts the mountain in half about how the gears of the fucking era are being kicked into motion by what they're doing there on Punk Hazard goes so fucking hard. Like I love that moment so much, and it just gets better every time I read it because of just knowing where the series is and what's happened since then. It's so fucking good.
It's a good moment.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna mention the Chopper moment that I know you love in that arc with him calling Caesar the monster.
Oh no, I don't love that necessarily. I just think it's really interesting in regards to like, because One Piece has its growing up arc, and especially through the basically like Fishman Island has, you know, Hoodie Jones as a character who has no parent figure, and then in Punk Hazard you start to get the Straw Hats as parent figures more so. So I do like that moment, but you know, yeah, it's good.
Yes, Marimo, I fucking agree. Because like my first thought, because like, you know, I'm really happy that we're talking about One Piece now, just because like I read it last year, so it's still like pretty fresh, and like I think of Punk Hazard, and that's like a great Straw Hat arc. Like there's so many good Straw Hat moments. There's even like Straw Hat tension, but like in such a good way, where instead of it being tension, like they're fighting with each other because they're fighting. It's their bodies are swapped, and they're swapped in ways that are just gonna cause conflict, right? Like Sanji being in Nami's body is going to just fucking cause conflict, right?
Look, Robin's getting so fucking mad at Frankie for being in Chopper's body and making these disgusting faces. She's like, never do that again. Like she's so
she like tells him like to just stop talking at one point. It's so fucking good. Just all the little things that happen when they're like in different bodies is like fucking great. And yeah, I think the arc is really good. I really like the way the arc uses Kinemon at the start, where he's split up, and so all the different groups of Straw Hats, like the way that they split up when they get to Punk Hazard, I like, and like the groups you have at the beginning of that arc.
Yeah,
and then the fact that they all have
Kinemon,
different parts of Kinemon, and so as they slowly meet together, they're like putting him back together, I think actually is like a really fun like way to do the first half of the arc, and then the second half with the shit with Caesar and the Salamander, I think is pretty good. I like Smoker in that arc. Anytime we see Smoker, I'm happy. So.
But yeah, post-war obviously
should not be an arc
to call it its own arc. It's just part of the fucking war. Yeah, the stuff that happens in it is fucking great. Like the fucking Luffy flashback, the fucking you know, I have my crew moment, like phenomenal. Like,
if your arc has to have the name of another arc in it, it's just part of that other arc.
Absolutely.
Like outside of like, if they, I guess, go back to Alabasta and have another arc there, right? That wouldn't still be Alabasta, right? That would be like Alabasta 2, you know? But like, yeah, if you have to call it post blank arc, it's still just that arc. Like what you like, that just means that the story arc is not wrapped up and you are wrapping it up, which means it's still part of that story arc, you know?
Right, I agree. Who's making noise?
None.
He
he has Thriller Bark next. I think Thriller Bark at about midway on a One Piece arc tier list is about fair, so I like don't even have a complaint about that.
It's great, yeah, but you know, there's like my thing with it is that like
people would put it.
Yeah, that's fair, because like I love it. I think it's like super like strong. It's like there's some really good writing there. Like when I did my Brook video, I literally ran out of footage for talking about the margarita moment because like it's just such a good microcosm of the arc. But I was literally talking about it for longer than the moment is in the anime, so it didn't work.
Did you guys catch when Bink Sake was playing in the episode?
Oh,
in episode 1?
Yes, I did. It was yes.
Did you also catch some of the fucking bounty names? I was shocked at some of the ones they threw in there.
So those were actually in the first real trailer, not the teaser. So I had actually noticed them already. But
I saw Cavendish. That one was mind blowing to see.
Oh, right.
Like hello.
He was an active pirate at the time, because he was he was mentioned as being like more closer to when Ace was a pirate.
Yeah.
Or even before then.
No, you're right. It's just like,
but it's just like, yeah, no, it's like they know their shit.
It's crazy to see, just because like. that is something where it's like they're putting that in there, and either like it doesn't get any more. And I told someone in chat, so I guess I'll just say this now. I told someone in chat earlier. They were like, I'd be surprised if this gets a season 2. I think it'll definitely get a season 2. Like I had alluded to kind of earlier, I would be shocked if this isn't like pretty hot on Netflix for a little bit, isn't the talk of the town for, at least a little bit while people are watching it right away. I'd imagine it's going to do pretty big numbers.
Rosa is another matter entirely.
Exactly, yeah.
But
I could see it getting another season, maybe like 3, like a couple, like Netflix it is so clear, like when you're watching this shit, I feel like that like there was so much money put into this first season.
For sure.
They're gonna put just as much into the marketing.
Show, for sure.
It's definitely gonna get a season 2. Like no shot it doesn't. It's gonna do well enough. The question is this gonna get 8 more seasons and get to Dressrosa or not? And so like that's why it's really crazy to see them throw in a character we won't see till then, because it's like they're at least planning for it now, which I also feel like part of the reason that like I would not be surprised at all if we get a season 2 is Baroque Works was mentioned like 4 fucking times in this first episode. Like those characters could not stop saying Baroque Works, like I almost started to feel like it was like fucking product placement. So there's definitely gonna be a fucking Alabasta season.
Yeah. So yeah, post Enies Lobby, same thing with the war, where it's just like it's just part of Enies Lobby. It's like honestly, as far as like stuff happening, like I almost would say like I don't think he's got them ranked on the individual thing, because I think even if you're counting them as separate arcs, putting post Enies Lobby above the post war is insane, because like. We learned about the emperors.
I'm telling
Dragon,
you,
and Kobe
there's
shows up,
I
and Ace
would
fights Blackbeard. Like it's fine, it's good.
I would
it's not,
imagine they're ranked. Like I would really be surprised if they weren't.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. That's
because
strange,
there's
but...
no other way they could be at the placement they're at in the tiers, right? Because like if they were just placed in willy-nilly as like I guess like if you were like literally just pulling the mouse like. I guess with reckless abandon to a random point in the tier, but like they're not placed alphabetically and they're not placed chronologically. So I imagine it had to have gone from favorite arc to least favorite or least favorite to most.
I mean, they could have just pulled the ones that they're most sure about. Like, okay, I already know this one's going in B, A, whatever.
I guess maybe, but
yeah, we'd have to watch the whole thing to figure that out.
And I'm not fucking doing that.
I ain't doing that. Jaya's part of Skypia. Like
but yeah, and I mean putting it here.
Like,
I agree. It's part. I would put it as part of Skypea. So I would just in my head I would just put it where he put Skypea, which like we'll get to.
Yeah, I understand that one being split up more, because I think we've talked about like antagonists being a more understandable like division, and in that case, then Jaya and Skypea being split up makes sense. But they still just straight up leads into Skypea. I mean, Jaya's really good. Don't get me wrong. But yeah.
My problem with just everything.
Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say my problem with just everything in this tier when I look at it and I look at the tier list as a whole is just how are you gonna say any of this is better than Wano? How are you gonna look anyone in the face, anyone in the eyes, and tell them that Whiskey Pete better than Wano? I'm so glad we both went to fucking Whiskey Pete gamer. Like I read fucking Luffy versus Zoro and that shit way better than Luffy Kaido. Like. What? Hello? Like just a moment in like Wano, right? Like the Black Maria moment. Maybe top 5 moments in Wano, but like I would put like maybe lower top 5 moments in that arc, and it still like clears everything in like anything in the A rank arcs, except maybe the I still have my friends moment in post war, but that should be up with the war in S, so it doesn't matter,
Yeah, no, actually I think that's fair. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe I don't know, because now I'm thinking about like Thriller Bark, because like Brooks' flashback is really fucking good, and I don't know, but it's like, oh no, I'm comparing.
Yeah, it would be like Bink Sake.
Oh no.
To like the Black Maria moment, which is fucking
But anyway, because Drum Island's like solid, it's fun. Chopper's really good.
So true, Luna. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
God, it's so fucking good, dude.
Yep. But yeah, Drum Island's really good, and I guess I understand its placement. It's fine there.
Yeah.
Whiskey Peak, I do not fucking understand
Crazy.
though, because it's
Crazy to
just
put
like
this side. Okay.
Zoro's cool. Yes,
So,
I get it. He's cool.
outside
and, yeah,
of
Luffy
so
fights
so
Zoro.
here's my hottest take. Here is my genuine hottest take I'm gonna have about this tier list. And I'm having it because of the crazy high placements of early arcs. I think that the arcs that this man has actually worked on and written things for have drastically influenced his opinion. It's why Syrup Village is way near the bottom, and why like Baradier, Arlong Park, are like at the fucking tippity top. It's because he's adapted Baradier and Arlong Park, so he's probably thought about it and has a much like a much greater respect for like.
He adapted Syrup Village though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If he like, what I was gonna get to is like, if he doesn't like adapting an arc, right, which would be Syrup Village, that could be like why it's slower. Versus like, if he like the ones in like season 1 that he did and thought about more and got a greater like appreciation for, that's the only way I can see Baradier being number 2. I'm sorry, is like him saying like working on Baradier and writing it, I like whatever. Like that's the only way.
A fine reason to like it for personal reasons, because like I love Baradier. Don't get me wrong. It's not like an S tier arc.
And that's why that's
good.
the only way I
Super
can see
good.
Whiskey Pete being that high up, is because like it's an early like whatever like season 2 arc, so he's been like workshopping like the live action Luffy versus Zoro, right? Like that's the only way mentally I can understand putting Whiskey Peak above Wano. Wano.
Put it Whiskey Peak above. Whiskey Peak was probably like bottom 5 arcs, maybe even bottom 3. Like it's fine. It's not. It's. Are you fucking kidding me? Though, like, come on. It's just not that interesting. Like, it's fine. It's good. It's set up for the fucking Baroque work shit. That's what it is. It's it's good at that, but it's not a peak arc. I'm sorry.
I'm fine with Load Town and A. I like Load Town a lot actually. I think for the length it is, it's really fucking good.
Yeah, that's fair. It's got some good moments for sure, and yeah. Orange Town, I don't know if I like it that much. Like,
brother,
good,
if Buggy
but...
D Clown is Heath Ledger, I guess maybe.
We'll find out. Because like that's the thing. It's like I love Buggy, but I love like Ample Down Onward Buggy. Like,
yeah,
him before that is good, but not that good.
Buggy's good. Yeah, I agree. When he gets like his current joke, good. Like the current joke that propels Buggy is like so fucking good and so funny that every time since it started being a thing he's shown up, like it's just funnier and funnier.
Like it does retroactively, like fucking when Luffy kicks Buggy in the balls, I just like I'm not only laughing because it's Luffy kicking Buggy in the balls.
It's one Yonko kicking another Yonko.
This is 2 future emperors fighting, and Luffy just kicks Buggy in the balls, and I'm like, yeah, that's One Piece for you. Like I remember there was even an SPS of like, why doesn't anyone just kick Whitebeard in the balls? And I was like, is that what you want the fights between the strongest men in the world and look like? People just kicking each other in the balls? And I'm just like, but that's Luffy and Buggy. Like if Luffy Gear 5 kicks Buggy in the balls, dude. Oh God, that would be 10 out of 10. But yeah, so yeah, Reverie, I think Marumo put it really well where it's like, OP fans and their sessions with lore dumps need to be studied, because like that, Reverie is like, I love Reverie. It has a bunch of good interactions between characters who don't fucking interact.
Dude, it has King Taco. Arc. But yeah, also that, like, I don't understand, especially like as a writer, and if you're looking at it, like you almost have to like take the meaning of arc out of it. Because like in what way is Reverie a complete story arc? Like it doesn't have like a beginning, middle, and end. Like it genuinely is like an interlude. Like
they
it's
literally like chop out half of it and show it after Wano. Like we literally saw the rest of Reverie this fucking year, and they talked about the aftermath during Wano. It's just part of Wano and the whole story. It's not its own arc.
Yeah, I agree, but whatever. I mean, putting it in an S, putting it above Wano is crazy, but it is what it is. You know what? Can we pretend, since Reverie is part of Wano, that Wano is where Reverie is?
I was thinking about that. Yeah, if you count Reverie as everything from Reverie to this year when we found out the rest of Reverie, then I agree with it. No, actually, it should be like at
one,
the top,
but yeah,
like above Marineford. But
you know what? Fair enough though. That part where like none of the Straw Hats were there and like it showed all these people as political, kind of did bring the arc down. So I guess I could understand it being at the bottom of the tier if you put that part in it.
Whole Cake Island it's. I mean, it belongs in S tier, for sure. I think it's a little low if it's assuming that it's ranked, because it's fucking like looking at the stuff above Whole Cake Island is like, okay, Dressrosa, I can understand that. Water 7, I can understand that. Skypiea, Marineford, sure.
I mean, yeah, one of them that is there sticks out like a sore fucking thumb. Like, you look at the S tier and it's like, one of these is not like the other. It's kind of insane. Like, I kind of just can't believe it. Like, to just look at that arc with all the others.
That arc, who I've been like fighting, especially in Nunmanji, off about Long Ring Longland. Like, I'm the guy who defends it. I'm still like, but it's not between water. It's not above Water 7 and Annie's lobby. No,
it's not above. Even if like they aren't tiered, right? Let's go at it a different way. It's not above Thriller Bark. It's not above Punk Hazard. It's not above Wano. It's not above Fishman Island. Like, everything is above Fishman. Hello? Like,
the only way it's above any of those arcs is if you just do the Jaya thing and just count it as part of Water 7, because like it builds. It doesn't build into. Well, I mean, if you count the Aokiju stuff, yeah, it builds into the story of Water 7. And that is part of the arc. Like, it builds into Water 7, maybe a little bit less than Jaya. But like ideas wise, it's there. Like, it's just like, yeah, it's just part of, like, you could call it part of Water 7, and that's the only way it's going to be above all these fucking.
No, these are clearly from a stream, right?
Yeah,
there's like, you can see their cameras, but I'm not.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. We're just, this is fucking. We are reactionaries. Okay, we are anime reactionaries. Yeah, this is Fox News shock jock entertainment bullshit. Okay, I do not care about facts. I do not care about logic, and I do not care about context. All right, I'm here to get y'all fired up, to turn y'all into an angry mob, and do something. I haven't figured it out from there,
but yeah, actually, so yeah, like Whole Cake Island's good. Dressrosa is really good. Empel Down I like, but not S tier, like for sure. Like, honestly, it might be. I mean, really, going from Shibondi Archipelago to the War, it's probably it beats out Amazon Lily, I guess, but it's definitely like not my favorite part of that story.
Yeah,
that arc series. So
it's just hard at this point when you get to like these top ones, because even like I agree with you, like even like ranking, like really at the end of the day, if I'm gonna ask someone, if they like Marineford more or Skypiea more or Water 7 Ein's Lobby, which should be one arc, by the way, more, or like Wano, which isn't here, or Dressrosa. I feel like that, like, it really is just like a personality test. But what I will say is,
for me, like, okay, is it Tuesday or Wednesday? Because like on Wednesday I'm a Dressrosa guy, but on Tuesday I'm more of a Whole Cake Island dude. I don't know, man. No,
first of all,
it's like it's hard. It's hard.
First of all, Thomas, I can't say that last name. I'm sorry. It's a slur in my culture. First of all, to come in here with that name. Second of all,
but it's got
to have that take, they're connected. But I don't know what I was gonna say. Someone who would have Marineford as their favorite arc is the only kind of person that would put Reverie in S.
That's a good fucking point. Because like Marineford's phenomenal. But I definitely like feel, yeah, I think I agree with you. Where if someone says that their absolute favorite arc, I'm kind of like,
at a certain point, it's just like the eye clap, show me every character.
Yeah,
which like isn't a problem. Yeah, I mean that's part of the appeal of One Piece. So I people are allowed to like that part of it. It's very clear.
It's like, I'd be more suspect of what they get out of One Piece if they have Marineford as their favorite arc versus if someone had like if someone has like Skypiea or Dressrosa or Whole Cake or Wano or Fishman Island, you can kind of just understand more about them.
That's
or
fair.
With Marineford, it's kind of like the usual favorite arc. So, and in a way that like is often,
which I don't get it in my brain. Like like it's a great arc. Don't get me wrong. It's got great fucking moments in it. You know what I mean? And even like when I first read it, like I could never have called a One Piece arc that does not have the crew in it my favorite One Piece arc. You know?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
it
I will
has
say, like,
one
it could
straw
be-
hat the whole time.
Yeah. Because I feel like, you know, it just depends on the reason why. Because because like one fair reason I think is that, like, especially the experience of going through it for the first time weekly and have it, for me, like, was insane. Like, there's even one of the chapters towards the ends where it's like major events piling on one after the other, because it was just fucking insanity every
Yeah.
week and just like hype, and it is like it's a fucking experience that I could never get, you know, again. And you know, it's fine, it makes sense. But, like, you know, if someone likes it because, oh, things are finally happening, then I'm like, well, okay, sure, all right, you know, maybe One Piece, like, I don't know, I don't know, just that's kind of a weird, you know, that sure, whatever. But yeah, we did skip Shabondi Archipelago, which I like. Again, if it's S for me, it's like a low S, because it's a short arc, but it's still really fucking dense and interesting. Like, it adds so much to the world and setting. Like, we on the Nen show, we had like a fucking 2.5 hour discussion on like 15 fucking chapters. I think.
Yeah.
It felt maybe 25, because I think maybe we did Amazon Lily in there, but it was just.
It feels like
we had such a long discussion because it just adds so much to the world. It's good. It's a fucking good ass arc.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's
Like-
got a little bit of everything for how short it is, right? Because like it adds so much to the world by introducing a lot more of like the fisherman stuff and just in general how the world government works. It's got like really good comedy, even in like how short it is, especially like the Sanji stuff, where like there's the guy who has the face of the Sanji wanted posters, and then I mean it has just like really good like hard hitting moments. I think like it has the introduction of the fucking the rest of the worst generation, right? So you meet Hawkins and
Kid and Law
Bonnie
yeah,
and
like,
Kid and Law, and then has like that great moment with Luffy and Kid and Law that I think works even better in hindsight now, like post Wano.
absolutely.
And then it's got like the punch and the moment where the pacifista sends like everyone away one by one.
That was Kuma, but yeah.
Or yeah, you're right, it was Kuma.
But no, like the whole, like, I opened my Luffy video talking about the moment of like Luffy splitting up the crew, because like it's just so un-Luffy like, and just real like that loss is just I don't know, it's just very interesting and sticks with me a lot because it's so, you know, it's a very good arc.
I think it's fair to have it high because it's not just like is it good, because like obviously it's not necessarily as good, but like what I was like even mentioning earlier, where like if you're gonna rank an arc for what it is, for an arc that's as short and as dense as it is, it's like crazy how much is packed.
Honestly,
in there.
I think as far as short arcs go, like Shabondi Archipelago is fucking hard to beat.
Yeah.
If it's possible at all, because like it's fucking great. And yeah, they're talking about the fucking Doflamingo talking about smile and sad. Like that's a fucking cut that when you reread it, it's like fuck.
Yeah, it feels like when they hit there, it's like okay, now the story is like ramping up, like we're moving into the next phase now, and it's good, it's cool.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, after that we Water 7. Yeah, it's fucking phenomenal. Sure. It shouldn't be split up into 4 arcs, but it's fucking phenomenal. Okay, 2 I can understand if you're gonna call long Baby Backbite its own arc.
Yeah.
But 4 is too much.
I like how like
where's Rocket Man? I'm saying if you're gonna split up Water 7, just do it right.
God, you're so true. Like if you're gonna split them up, because the problem with splitting it up is like I genuinely do not know which is which, right? Is it
right? No, like dude, is it Water 7 until they leave Water 7 or until they get to Enia's lobby?
Because there's a little bit of a break before both. There's a little bit of a break before they get on the train.
Where's
and then...
Rocket Man?
So like you can't split those up and not have the train unless you're gonna specify which one it's on. Like it's crazy. Because there's literally even a fight specific to that arc. Like there are fights.
Fucking Zoro gets a fight. Sanji gets a fight. Frankie gets a fight. Like, hello? It's a fucking arc. Oh, Luffy doesn't get a fight. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Luffy doesn't get a fight in Reverie either.
Yeah, Luffy's not even there, fuckers. Anyway, all right. So Skypia, it's adventure. It's fucking super good. It's yeah. It's really interesting. Eneru's good. I like him.
It's the most like swashbuckling, except maybe Alabasta, but those are the two that like I feel like if you want to use like that word and like everything that it like implies, it's the most like swashbuckling I think of the One Piece arcs.
Yeah.
So like it's
Yeah,
fair.
no, so,
It's fucking good. Like it's just like an adventure. Like it's super good. Yeah. Skypiea goes crazy.
Yep. Alabasta is it's like I feel like because if Arlong Park is where One Piece gets like fucking like I mean goes if you really see what it is and what it's becoming, then Alabasta is where that kind of gets just solidified, and it's like One Piece. It's like Alabasta's great.
Alabasta I feel like is way better than it has any right to be for where it is in the series.
Yeah.
But I would also
fair.
probably say the same thing about Baradier and Arlong. So.
Yeah, because I think we already kind of talked about those two where it's like they're great fucking arcs, but they're just not the best that One Piece has to offer.
They're not above Wano.
Right? And like, am I gonna fucking cry every time Nami begs Luffy to help her? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I am, but it's still that's not a 10. It's not like a top 3 arc. So,
same way I'll cry every time Zoro loses to Mihawk.
What Alabasta's? You saying that about Alabasta?
Alabasta's top 10. So
I was just making sure. I thought okay.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about Arlong. Sorry, where it's like I love Arlong Park. It's great.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's yeah.
It's
Nuns
just, the placement is Oh yeah, I forgot. No, I didn't forget. That's Toxic Clown. I'm sorry. You've just been quiet.
He just hates One Piece, dude.
Yeah, he prefers Vampire Survivors.
That's also
No
true.
comment.
He's fucking gaming. Yeah, I'm really excited to get to the rest of the live action Luna because I
have I work tomorrow. Then I have a fucking 3-day weekend. I'm going all in.
I'm very excited to see the big moments.
I don't have to edit a podcast. Matthews is out for the week, so we're not chatting and doing stuff. I don't think I'm working on Saturday. My weekend is fucking free to do whatever the fuck I want, and that's going to include watching 7 more episodes of One Piece. So
yeah, because there's so many.
Feel like
sorry,
the last thing that the live action really needs to prove itself. Well, I mean, it obviously will have already been has proven itself or not to people who have watched more, but I feel like we have to see the emotional moments.
Yeah,
how they handle that, if they can pull that off.
Well, there's 3 big ones that I feel like we know they'll hit. So it's those are the 3, which are the 3 big ones anyways, right? It's fucking I feel like it's Zoro losing to Mihawk, it's Sanji leaving Baradier, and then it's the Nami hat moment. And maybe I guess the end of the Arlong fight, but those moments are I want to see if they can hit those. Because we didn't talk about it when we talked about the episode, but I feel like even the fight choreography was pretty good. I was pretty happy with the way the fights worked, especially the one in the bar. I think was really interesting to see the fight actually pay attention to how how Zoro is fighting people and not killing them, because that's something that the manga and anime I feel for the most part they can kind of get away with not really showing, right? Zoro can swing his sword and they die or don't die just based on which way he showed it, but they don't really have to draw it too different either way. In the anime.
Yeah, one thing I noticed was that they're definitely lowering the violence. They cut out in the anime when I rewatched it. There's a part when Morgan literally orders his men to fucking kill themselves in the manga, and they put their guns to their heads, and that's not in the anime.
I mean, Zoro also did cut a guy in half.
In the Netflix, but in the anime, he cut Morgan, and you just see the clothes shredded. There's no blood, so it's just even the anime lowered the volume.
Oh, I see
of the violence. Where the obviously the Netflix one amped it up, honestly. Fucking Zoro did. I don't think he's bisected a guy like that in the fucking manga even, right?
Yeah.
So that's not main character violence, I guess.
Well, I like that they show it in his first scene, because it immediately changes the way that you have to view Zoro fighting with swords, because now it legitimizes his swords, So now when he's fighting, if he's not going to kill these Marines, we got to see how he's doing that. And like the other thing that I want to see, because like it's live action, it has to show more attention, and we kind of saw it a little bit this episode, but like I'm so excited to see him do more of like the third sword and see them have to come up with fight choreography to make a sword in his mouth useful, right? I cannot
like,
wait
so
to
far,
see
yeah,
him.
I forgot to mention that because what they did, I thought it was funny what they did in this episode where it's just does more, it's just stronger somehow.
Well,
They
yeah,
don't
he like
even
holds it
fucking,
down. Well, even he kind of holds the swords down and then holds the sword in his mouth to his neck, and that was like kind of something. But I want to see him like fight a bunch of guys with it and like use it to like deflect swords coming at him and cut people down with the sword in his mouth. That's what I'm fucking waiting for. And yeah, so that's really.
I feel like in at least this first episode, I was kind of more of a fan of Zoro's fights in this than Luffy.
I agree.
Like, fighting so far. Like, I feel like his was like really well done and like really cool. Whereas like the Luffy ones, I feel like I need to see a little more of that.
I actually would agree. I think the Luffy fights almost, they almost didn't have enough devil fruit for me, which I understand. It's probably expensive to use, you know, a lot of devil fruit in a fight. Versus Zoro's is less CG and more just like, you know, blocking and
yeah, for sure.
So it's probably cheaper to do like a Zoro fight, but Zoro's fights all felt really high quality and like there was a lot. I also thought, speaking of fighting, it was interesting seeing Nami fight as much as she does, because I genuinely don't think in the like manga and anime she has a fight until Alabasta, and by then the reason she has the staff that we see her, I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, but I feel like she has a staff not because like she always fought with a staff, but because that was what Usopp made for her. You know?
No, she had the quarterstaff
in
the beginning. It was a 3-section staff that she combined, remember? But she was not, like, I would say as far as like she's stronger in the Netflix thing. Like, she was not knocking down mooks the way she was in the anime.
Yeah.
Like the big one I remember is when she fights Buggy's guys and she's like struggling to hit them in the anime, but here she's going up against fucking Marines and just fucking beating the shit out of them comparatively to Luffy and Zoro. Right, like she can fucking fight in the Netflix one, which is neat. You know, I don't mind that because like, especially because like you pointed out, like her first real fight is against fucking Doublefinger and Alabasta. So by giving Nami the capability to fight already, they're kind of like you know, getting her a little closer to that level, so to speak. Even though, you know, her fighting style changes completely, but you know, it's still cool. And I feel like I was going to say something. So another comment. So Prince mentioned that his dad is watching the One Piece live action. I kept thinking about, like, I wonder what my dad would think if he watched this, because he's obviously not going to fucking watch, like, he doesn't watch very much. I saw him watching, like, Heavy Metal once, and, like, he doesn't watch animation. But he does have, like, he Flickster, which is, like, a pirate site that he uses to stream pirated stuff, so, like, he could see the One Piece thing, and maybe my brother would talk about him, and he'll actually watch it. I'm like, oh god, what would my dad think about this? I have no idea.
I think it's funny that Prince says his dad finds it funny, because like I agree it's funny, and I think it's interesting because it's not funny in either, right? Like the One Piece way, where it's way goofier with its comedy, and it's very much like you know, like Looney Tunes, but it's also not like Marvel funny.
No, for sure.
Like I think Luffy is like too genuine. Like he's so genuine with like everything, like the way he acts, like it works super well. And then like even Zoro had that. I don't remember what the line Zoro had, but Zoro had like a really good fucking comedic line at some point during like the big fight in like the sandpit. I don't remember what it was. It was like something in that sequence. He had like a good line that like I remember actually like getting.
I don't remember what it was. Did I write it down? Probably not. No, I did not. But yeah, also Luna. I did not know that the. I mean, it makes sense.
You didn't know that?
What? No, I somehow missed it. But so I'm probably not gonna, like, if I ever rewatch it, I might try the Japanese dub. But I don't know. I think that's cool.
I agree. I feel like
sense, so.
I feel like maybe
I kind of thought about that as a possibility, but I'm surprised they actually did.
Yeah, I'm surprised neither of y'all saw it. They announced it like months ago that they were doing that, and so that it would have that dubbing. And when they announced it, there's a video of the guy who plays Luffy meeting what's Luffy's voice
Oh,
actress's name? Mayumi
yes.
Tanaka, something
I
like
want to
that.
say Mayumi Tanaka. Yeah, I want to say that.
There's like a
Which
video
is
of him
yeah,
meeting her because they had like already done like the dubbing of it, and so it's like the two of them talking to each other about like playing like Luffy.
kind of like how they did
Kind of like the hit Luffy meeting Oda. Yeah.
Yes, okay, because I
Let
did
me see
see
if
the
I can
Oda
find the
one,
video.
but
I'll post it both
okay,
to
yeah,
y'all
I
and in
might
chat.
watch it later. But yeah, I guess since we've gone back to the live action one, probably my biggest point of interest with it right now is like because with One Piece fans, I know there's either going to be people who are super into it and there's people who are going to be mad about the changes and whatever. I'm not as interested in that. I'm kind of curious as to see because like we talked about like the idea of it getting 8 seasons or whatever. Like that's not going to happen unless it becomes as big of a hit in as One Piece in Japan. I feel like, and I don't think that's going to happen. But I am just kind of curious to see what the response is from people who don't know anything about One Piece and are experiencing it for the first time through the Netflix. Like that's just a point of interest I have. Like I don't know if I'll go seek it out, but it's just something I was thinking about. Really.
But to actually answer Luna's question, because I mean I guess I'm the same as both of y'all. Where like yeah, I would totally. So I don't know if like for example, if I like rewatch it when season 2 comes out, if like it's a rewatch for season 2, I don't know if I would watch that in Japanese. But I could see if in like a month or like maybe even like a year and like season 2 is like another year away, I feel like just throwing it on, I could totally see myself watching an episode or moments or certain things with the
oh yeah,
anime dub just to see what it looks like because it would look so weird. I don't know if I could actually get through watching the whole series like that, but I think just seeing it or like watching a YouTube video that's like comparison would be really interesting, you know?
Yeah, and I'm almost
For sure.
wondering like how would that affect this portrayal of Luffy to hear like the original voice actor's voice coming out of his mouth? Like would it make like yeah, I'm curious like how would it make it feel more similar to anime Luffy or not? Or like how would that
I wonder that with I'm really curious how they're gonna do the more I think about it, how they're gonna do Zoro. Like is he going to try to act based on how the actor is doing it, or is he gonna play Zoro? You know what I mean? So like is he gonna be yelling in some of these scenes, or is he gonna still be like as composed because that's what the actor's doing?
That's a good how are they adapting the adaptation?
Yeah,
right?
are
Like,
they
that's
doing
definitely
are they just
interesting,
reading the lines as if they were just doing those characters normally, or are they going to try to dub the live action version? I think would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, Marimo-san, I kind of agree. I think I could see One Piece. I don't know if it will. I could see it being or what Netflix trying to push it as their next Stranger Things, especially because like what next Stranger Things season's like the last one probably because those kids are fucking adults now. I could see them wanting this to be, if anything, just because like it's a story that they know can go super long, and if it gets popular enough, and I think like right now, like in the Western America or whatever, I think One Piece is probably at its like peak popularity that it's ever been. So it's like the best time for it to do really well. I think we'll just have to see, but it could.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, the fact because like the timing lining up between the Netflix and
Year 5,
Year 5, that's and as far as the manga, like it's. I feel like it's getting close to something fucking big, but it's definitely not there yet because Oda took like a fucking 4-week hiatus. So,
he had surgery.
But yeah. No, I know why. Yeah, it's just
Well,
like.
don't say he took a hiatus.
Yeah, for surgery.
Oda got new eyes.
He's a cyborg now. But no, just yeah, I just hadn't thought about the timing all lining up. So, do you guys want to move on from One Piece? Or
yeah, I'm super
what?
fine to go on.
Okay. Because yeah, I went to Sweden. If we want to talk about that a little bit, I won't go on for too long. I don't think though. But yeah, I had a good time. I hung out with a friend of mine who I've known for like 10 years, funnily enough, through like One Piece role plays. So, okay, just to like transition it from One Piece to Sweden, I actually did eat. I'll post a picture of it. Semla, which was because when the fucking whole Cake Island stuff was going, he mentioned that it was a Swedish dessert, which was because that was Big Mom's thing from the Whole Cake Island arc, because she ate semla, or she wanted to, because there was the fast with the giant island. So yeah, I just happened to have some, so that was cool. But then so yeah, I saw a naval museum. We went to one. I'll post a couple pictures of that. There was a old cathedral, like 1300s. That is university. Or I'm just going too fast. Oh yeah. Post those. There's a lot of pictures, so I'm just trying to keep it brief. I don't know if you're gonna post them, Vindy, or show them on screen, Vindy. But yeah,
It might take too long for every individual picture. Maybe I can.
Yeah, that's
try.
fine. If you can pick out a couple, yeah.
Yeah, give me a second. I need to.
I'm trying to keep them.
I need to do something first.
Shorter. So.
Wait, no. I need like. God damn it! I'm fucking stupid, by the way. Here we go. Okay.
Honestly, I feel like Frankie, at least his initial design, wouldn't be too difficult. But yeah, once they get to like post time skip Frankie, that's just gonna be interesting.
Okay. Well, I need this.
I'm also curious about Chopper, because fucking like I guess they would do it like Rocket Raccoon, but also I don't know. It's just like it's hard to imagine it too. So
I like this one. I like this one. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna fucking.
Yeah, I'm just gonna post some pictures, and then you can take the ones that are interesting and ask about them, I guess.
All right. Let's do this, and then I will.
Yeah, I was with a friend of mine, or in Sweden, yeah. So because I've known him for a long time, and I just wanted to go travel for a vacation, and so I was like January. I was like, hey, what if I came to Sweden? And he's like, oh yeah, cool, and I did it. So, oh, that's right. So, I'm an international criminal.
What the fuck?
So what happened is about a week before my trip, I hadn't got my passport yet, so I called, and I was
live
like, hey,
action
where's my
Chopper.
passport? Yeah.
Sorry,
and so they said, yeah, no, it's fine. I see. Oh God, Chopper being a puppet. But anyway, so they were like, hey, yeah, your passport's arriving like in 2 days. Did you say your last name was blank? And I'm like, yeah. Well, and they're like, so they misspelled it. They misspelled my passport.
Dude, it's like that.
So, and obviously I was getting it like a week beforehand. So it's like I didn't have time to fix it. So they were like, so the official fucking government passport office was like, so, hey, go call the airline and see if you can get that figured out. Like, do you need to bring extra documentation or something? And then I called the airline, and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna change your itinerary to match your falsified name on your passport. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I went through the fucking thing, and I gave the passport to the guy, and he looked at it and says like, have a good flight, Mr. Wrong Last Name. And I was like, yeah, thank you, sir. And like I'd been named that my entire life. So I just, I don't. It was also really funny because like my first flight got canceled, and I had to take a 2-hour taxi ride from Sacramento to San Francisco to catch a different flights to the East Coast so I could go to Sweden. And so even sleep deprived as shit, because I woke up at 4 in the morning to go to work, and it was like 1 o'clock when I had to talk to the guy at the counter to get my flight figured out. And even sleep deprived as shit, I was able to like lie about my name spelling. Like he's like, "What's your last name?" And I just spelled out the incorrect spelling. Like it was only 1 letter difference, but still, I didn't fucking hesitate or fuck up at all. But anyway, so the criminal part comes in. I was shopping with my friend, and I got sick, so I needed tissues, like travel size tissues, to take along so that I could just have in my pockets while we were out, because I was fucking snotty as shit. It was gross. So we picked them from the pharmacy section, and they had it like the separate register there to buy stuff specifically there, so you don't have to go through the main register in the larger store. Then we went to the main register because we didn't buy them there, and the lady asked about the tissues, and he said, "Yeah, we got them in the pharmacy." And so we didn't pay for the tissues. And I then proceeded to smuggle stolen Swedish tissues back into the country on an illegitimate passport.
Hell yeah.
So
Sell them for a markup.
international criminal, yay!
So I have to share this
yeah.
video. I saw it. I was crying because I was trying so hard not to laugh while you were telling your story. I'm sorry. I just had to share this with the stream. We have to look at all these shirts, and then we can go back to business as usual. What Craftsdwarf was the best thing you ate in Sweden? What was the tastiest treat?
So I posted the pictures of the food. So like the second last picture is a nice ass steak. It was a deer actually with it's a fucking steak and fries. But it was like fucking $30, $35. At a decently nice restaurant in Uppsala, which is where I spent most of my time because that's where my friend goes to university. So yeah, it was good. They ate a lot of fucking dill. Like that sauce there was some other stuff in it, but I mostly remember the dill. Yeah, it was a good steak and fries. The most interesting thing I ate is if you see the lemon and cucumber with the shrimp and tomato and stuff on top, that's a cake. It's like a savory cake. I forget what it's called, but it was like you just take slices of it and it has like a kind of frosting like thing and cake, but it's not very sweet and yeah, it's like apparently it's a dish that they eat with like more for celebrations or for important occasions like funerals. We just had it because I was there. But yeah, it was a fucking savory cake with shrimp and cucumbers and lettuce and tomato, and it was actually pretty. There was eggs, like sliced hard boiled eggs up there. It was pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
So sorry, I laughed at Marmo asking, have you tried the idea meatballs? I expect that's a typo of Swedish meatballs, but it's a really
yeah. I assume he means the IKEA meatballs.
Oh, IKEA. IKEA did came up and it looked fucking massive and terrifying. Like for some reason, but we never went in. I did have Swedish meatballs. You gotta have the sweet.
Well, I mean that's what they are at IKEA, but it's just IKEA Swedish meatballs for the goat.
But I didn't have Swedish. I took some snacks. And I had some like American snacks. He asked for just like so I brought some stuff. Like what did I bring? Like I brought some I brought the Reese's with the potato chips in them. I got like a Slim Jim. He asked for beef jerky specifically. So yeah, it was neat. I'm gonna post some more pictures. Then let me think. So I just posted some more pictures. So there was a so I the one I showed you guys before was the Burger King, because I did.
What a king, by the way, for this move, going to the Swedish Burger King. What a goat.
Yeah, well, it's like because he just casually mentioned like because we went to go see Barbie, which was a fun movie. And after he's like, "Do you want to see Barbie and go Burger King?" And I was like, "Well, it's really funny that you mentioned Burger King." And I explained the fucking meme, the Weeb Club thing. And so what I got, it was what was it called? Halloumi. That's right. That's what I'm spelling it. I'll type it in chat. So I got it's actually a vegetarian. That was a vegetarian burger that I ate. Because what's the meat? The quote unquote meat on it is actually halloumi cheese, which is it's basically it's got a high melting point, so they basically deep fry it, and it's almost like I almost thought it was fish because you buy it's like it got a crispy outside and then a white inside, but it was literally a cheeseburger. So like it actually had a different cheese on it and barbecue sauce, so I liked it. Yeah, you can actually see the halloumi in the picture it's backwards because it's on the wrapper. But so yeah, I specifically made sure to get something that I can't actually get at Burger King here. So it wasn't like a pointless trip to but it was good. And yeah, it was obviously I did it for the meme as well. And then I did have Swedish meatballs. They were they had frozen meatball from which, but they were also like really small, which I thought was because means they cooked better and they were also more flavorful. So I was like, oh, well, I've been doing meatballs wrong my whole life. So that was pretty good. So then the other picture, okay, the last picture there is a post van thing truck, which mostly was funny because I took a picture and then a lady delivering mail, because she wasn't visibly around when I took the picture, and she said something in Swedish, and my friend said that I was just a tourist. She was mad that I took a picture because I don't know, she thought maybe like, oh, she parked wrong and I was gonna get her in trouble or something like that. Maybe my friend was as confused as I was. But yeah, so I don't know. I just took pictures of some mundane stuff too. Like I have pictures of goats and a rock and grass. Like I have this joke where I was just gonna like take a picture of grass and then send it to people and be like Swedish grass. Like I don't know. I just thought it was fucking stupid, but funny.
That's fair enough. I like that.
Yeah, I have a bunch more pictures, but one of them I should explain. There's the it's like a speed dial almost for a boat. So did I posted that one, right, Vindy, from the Naval Museum? It should be one of the earlier ones.
Which one?
It's like a big round dial with it says fart.
Oh my god, it does say fart.
So to explain that,
Full fart.
There's a phrase in Swedish that basically, or I think they maybe because I asked my friend and he said that they learn English at like age 7 there. So I like literally the only language barrier. I obviously couldn't read anything, but for the most part. But if I talked to someone like a cashier, they would speak to me in Swedish, and I'd be like, I don't speak Swedish, and they'd say, oh, do you want a receipt or do you want a bag? Like, yeah, they'd have Swedish accents, of course, but basically everyone I interacted with was fluent in English. So there's a phrase where it basically goes, it's not the fart that kills you, it's the smell. Fart means speed. So when you look at that dial, it says like full fart, half fart. It's half speed or full speed. And smell, or at least the word that's spelled like that, apparently means crash. So it's not the speed that kills you, it's the crash. It's not the fart that kills you, it's the smell. So it's just a funny bit of wordplay.
That's crazy. That's actually really interesting. That's super cool.
Yeah, I thought it made me laugh.
I just can't get over a full fart.
Is that right? Like I saw that and I was like, I need to take a picture because this is fun. My dad asked me to send it to him, and I understood that. So I had some the ones I just posted is someone I know asked for pictures of a convenience store, which is the one on the right, and a Swedish 7-Eleven. Or no, I think those are both the 7-Eleven. No, or maybe they're just convenience. I don't know. I'd have to look closer. No, the one on the right is just a convenience store. The one on the left is specifically a 7-Eleven. And then I was looking for a different one. There is. Oh yeah, there it is. So yeah, the one I just that just got posted is that's the candy section in a pretty big store. It was pretty fucking big. Like there was the wall of like the little, the jugs of candy that you'd have to stick the scoop in and you pour into another bag or something like that. It was like a good fucking probably like 50 feet long, maybe.
Brother, why do the Fruit Loops cost $30?
Oh, so that's crowns. The equivalent is basically like 1 crown is equal to, or no, hold on, what was it? Yeah, 1 crown is basically a dime. So 30 crowns is like $3. I'm pretty sure. Okay. I definitely know that 30 crowns is $3. So yeah, no, that's yeah, I got you. Their economy isn't that bad.
Okay.
But yeah, they had a pretty robust candy section. I brought some of the candy, and it was pretty good. It was funny watching them react because I brought some. My brother made a good point where it's like there's some other ethnic foods that would be easily available in America that they wouldn't be able to get. So I brought some. They were corn-shaped Mexican sweets. So they were corn-shaped watermelon-flavored lollipops that were covered in chili powder, and they both spat them out and threw them away. Like they did not like that. But I brought some other like I think birthday cake flavored Kit Kats, and then that's right, there was one more picture that of some of the snacks that I had more like, oh shit, I didn't even talk about those. So
Oh
so
my
the
God.
last one is the snacks that I was just talking about. They were pretty good, chocolate like cookies. The ones in the middle, the white and brown ones, they were called Delectables. They had an older, more racist name that I can't say on the stream,
I love.
but you can probably get. Well, none can say it, but I can. You can probably guess.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like laughing because it was like, well, that's something I learned.
Yo, on a pizza.
I like
Yeah,
Craftsdwarf cutting the French fry pizza.
No, that's
Goat.
that's what so two, I guess, culinary, I wouldn't say culture shock, it wasn't that big a deal, but it was just like interesting differences is one. um so like they talked about, my friend and his girlfriend talked about like when they're at home they'll just eat pizza with their hands, but like in public when there's more like shame involved, they'll eat it with a fork and knife. Because that's, I just ate a whole lot. Okay, I only ate half that pizza and I ate the other half later. But yeah, I had to get it because it's like, well, it's a pizza with French fries on it. You've out America'd America. I think I'm gonna eat this. And then yeah, I have just the picture. So I specifically asked my friend, take a picture of me eating it with a fork and knife, because it's like pizza, eat with fork and knife with French fries on it. It's like an affront to America.
So
I just thought that was funny.
I have two things to say about this picture. First of all,
Okay.
see, like, I agree with you in public. Like, I guess you kind of got to eat it with a fork and knife in that situation. And I would never do this in public, but I feel like in my brain, the only way to eat a French fry pizza is to roll that shit up like a burrito.
Okay. Oh, so he was talking about something about like a rolled up pizza with something like that's basically a meme food.
I feel like that is like
Yeah,
the
see,
only
look-
way you could eat that and get what you need out of it. But the other thing is, them just giving you cans at a restaurant is so tough, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's, that soda that I got, it's a Swedish soda. It was kind of like a citrusy ginger ale. Basically, it was pretty
he's just drinking that
yeah.
Fanta.
good. Yeah. So yeah, I think I have more pictures, but that also the Luna's reaction is basically exactly what I was going for with that picture, of just the confusion of pizza with fries and a fork and knife. It's like, hello, like, yeah, but it's non-booted up Vampire Survivor again. So
I was just checking something. I'm not gonna play.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I don't give a shit.
But yeah, that sums up the best
If-
hits, I guess, from my vacation. Do you have any questions or not, or what you're gonna say, Vindy? Sorry.
I was just gonna say that I mean, don't feel too bad, none, because if I wasn't streaming, I'd be doing my FF dailies right now. But instead, I'm just gonna have to go without a day doing them, and I will kill myself. But
Fortunate.
it is unfortunate.
Yes, there's our French fries, Hollow Man.
Were the fries themselves good? Where do they?
They
yeah,
were fine.
actually,
Nah.
let's talk about these fries.
They were.
I feel like they look dog shit.
I
Well,
don't know about dog
maybe
shit,
not,
but, like, they're meant
actually.
to be eaten with pizza. They were fine. They were the best fries I had, but like,
Were
it is
they
what it-
okay? So I guess it depends. Are they? Because some of them look kind of crispy. Is this crisp on the fry, or is this seasoning?
It was crisp. They weren't particular. They were seasoned, but not like to that
Okay,
degree.
then
I
actually,
guess.
these I feel like it could go crazy. I kind of like it because because like crispy fries would go hard, but if they were like soft, like fucking, floppy fries, they would have been bad. Doesn't PewDiePie
I
live
mean, I
in
like to
fucking
eat the.
Japan now?
Yeah, I don't fucking know. So yeah, it was a fun trip. The flight wasn't bad. Like I mean, I even realized like while flying, it's like I kind of already just sit in a chair in one place for fucking 8 hours at a time. So it didn't bother me. And I literally I was over prepared. Like I had too much stuff to watch because I kind of forgot that I would have to sleep on the plane. So like because I watched some stuff. I finished like Ultraman, Trigger, and watched a couple movies. Like I watched
See,
the
but-
Mario movie. You can look at my Twitter thread
don't know.
around early August and see what I've watched and
I-
stuff. But,
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you agree with me about trips in general, but I feel like anytime I take a trip, I I always will like do that, right? If there's like a plane, I will end up in downloading more to watch on the plane than I think I'm gonna need. But in reverse, I always spend way more time both like on both ends of sleeping, both like in bed waiting to go to sleep after like splitting with like whoever else I'm like hanging out with for the night, and after waking up, like waiting for other people to wake up, or not wanting to get out of bed yet, especially if I'm like at a trip where I'm like out and I'm drinking with people, so there's a lot of time there where you kind of end up having nothing to do, so having something to watch that you have downloaded, like it ends up kind of evening out throughout a trip, at least personally.
For sure. Because like we watched some stuff that he had, like that's what because if you look at my thread, I watched like Snow White, the first Disney movie. I watched Pinocchio, the second Disney movie, and then I watched Hercules because my friend put it on, and I was like, "Fuck it, why not? I'll watch Hercules." We weren't 100% paying attention, but I was there, paying attention. I watched the movie close enough, I guess. But but yeah, no, because like I specifically made sure that I brought along, like I counted like, okay, how many days am I going to be away? And I made sure to bring just enough Aikatsu episodes and just enough Kimi no Todake to do all my daily Aikatsu and manga at the very minimum. And then I was able to keep up. I think I watched like some of the seasonals and stuff as I was going. Like I even watched the episode of Dark Side of the Ring, one of them with my friend, because for some reason I thought he was into wrestling because of like one thing that happened, but it turns out he wasn't. But he still liked the episode, so it worked out. But yeah. And yeah, it was also interesting because like there's just more, I guess, public transportation. Like we just took the bus everywhere, and it was perfectly fine. Like they had he bought bus passes for the week basically, and we just hop on a bus and go, and it would be perfectly good. And I think I took both the train and the metro because we went to Stockholm, which is where I flew in from, but we did take a day trip there to walk around there. We went to the palace and bought fucking $5 bottles of water because we were fucking thirsty, and everything was overpriced there because that's where we really saw the tourists. Like there weren't really a lot of tourists, at least not a heavy traffic in Uppsala. Like they were mostly in Stockholm. So yeah. Yeah.
That's nice.
Had a good time, and I'm probably gonna, try and because like I don't mind the flying, I don't mind the travel, so I might do it every so often, I don't know if I have anywhere else to go. That's funnily enough not like a high priority in my brain.
What the fuck?
Well, because like I mostly like because I think a lot of the reason. A lot of the reason I had an easy time in Sweden is because I was literally like with a friend. Like I didn't have to spend money to find a place to sleep. I just crashed in his guest room, So and like just having a friend who knows the place and knows how to get around just made it that much easier. So at least at first, like I probably will travel to places alone eventually, but traveling to places where I know people is just easy. So in that way, so I'll it is what it is. But it's something I could see myself doing more, and overseas, and like just this. I think that was really something I kind of like understood, but hadn't really felt was just like the size of the world, and that like I flew a good like over a third of the way across the planet in like a couple days and spent a week there, and then came back, and it's just like just feeling like because none of my family's actually gone. I think my dad's been to Puerto Rico. Fuck.
Puerto Rico.
Wow, I don't know why I can't pronounce it. Holy shit. Yeah, he's been outside of the U.S., but not like but still to a U.S. territory. So it's not really, it is overseas. So like none of my family's been to Europe. So that was,
dude.
So yeah.
Sorry for you. You've just cursed the rest of the fucking line. Like, what can we say?
Right. So yeah. It was a good time. And yeah, cost-wise, like, I took a paid vacation from work because I get those. So like, I think I spent like probably around $2,000 total, maybe a little above, because like I used my bank to get $200 worth of crowns, which was about 2,000 crowns from the exchange rate, and then the ticket was a little less than like $1,800. So, yeah. So the ticket was mostly the expensive part, obviously, but because it was an international flight. But flying domestically would be much cheaper. So, yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm about done talking about my vacation, I think.
Cool.
Do we want to just go to the final segment like normally?
That's fine. We could also call it, or
No. We have to.
okay.
We got it. We always got to talk about it at least a little bit. We got to talk about it at least. Let's just do, because like I imagine we'll have more time in other weeks,
Just
and
one
everyone's got
thing.
Pick just
I gotta
your
go to bed, so
either
yeah.
your favorite or the most interesting thing that you or whatever. I guess just pick whatever. But
Yeah, something we've gone through or are going through, like normal. Yeah, I got you.
yeah,
So Nunmanji starts, I guess.
Well, it's a live stream. It's a new format, not necessarily.
I can start. I got one ready. It's fine. I'm fine with that. We didn't even sync up. None doesn't have to be the first. I'm fine with that. I got one ready to go.
I'm just being a dick.
I finished Persona 5 Royal
Cool.
over like whatever. Maybe a month ago now, close to a month ago. Now at this point, it was like the very beginning of August, like first week of it. And it's crazy because I finished the game and I think about it a lot. Like I don't know. It's weird. It's like a really interesting game, and I like it a lot. But I also have like some big issues with, not big issues with it, but kind of, I don't know. It's weird because like that game is so fucking cool. I'm like, it's so good in so many ways, and like it's fucking like its presentation is insane, and the music is good and crazy, and like it does so many just fucking smart little JRPG things that like it's hard to go play other JRPGs after it. Like one small thing it does that is so fucking smart for turn-based JRPGs that if other ones don't start doing from now on, it's like bad. Is that like instead of having the menu options be you have to scroll through them, the different options in the menu are the different buttons on the controller. So like instead of like
Yeah.
so like the big difference is like if you're like okay, so like just normal attack is like on like a PlayStation controller is square. And then like your skill button, like your magic button is triangle, and like defend is like circle. You know what I mean? And like item is square. So like the different buttons are different actions. So you're not like scrolling through a menu. It feels like you're actually, I don't know, like the choice you're making feels more distinct because you're actually pressing a different button. It's just like a small gameplay thing, but it works so fucking well. For like just like turn-based JRPGs, and I think it like should become like the new industry standard genuinely for the genre. I think it's like so fucking good. And then like the biggest like and then like the game is like just sorry I'm just like rambling, but like it has so much. It's just hard to talk about the game because there's so much in it, you know what I mean? Like there's both so much like just like story content because it's like 100-hour like fucking plus long game, like because I played the game basically twice, right? Because I've played base Persona 5 once and then Persona 5 Royal once, so I've only done the Royal like specific content once, but a majority of the game is like the same. And like there's so fucking much in that game, and like as with any 100-hour experience, like it's not all paced evenly, it's not all weighted evenly, and because of that, like there's some parts that like are really fucking good and that work really well, and then there's some parts that like aren't really fucking good. At the beginning, I think, especially on a replay, fucking tough. Like it's long, it's slow. If you've played a Persona game before, it babies you. It's great if it's your first Persona game because it babies you so hard that like you really like get kind of like walked into it. But if you've played another one or you've played the game before, at a certain point you're like, dude, just let me kind of fucking go nuts. Let me go crazy. But the game just doesn't want you to. Also, like just like there are royal changes that like make the game a lot easier. They're like all better. And like I'm glad that they're all in the gameplay, but the game is so much easier. It's crazy. Like it is bonkers how fucking easy that game is. And then like the biggest problem is just like it's also like just too long. Like it is too fucking long, and I think the ending just like isn't it for me. Like I can't get over that. Like I don't know. I feel like the ending just like leaves a lot to be desired. Not like the final like dungeon or final boss. I think all of that is great. I think everything about like the new content is like really, really, really fucking great until like the final anime cutscene that you watch at the end of the game, which is really sad because that should be the best part of the game, right? That is like
that
your
cutscene
final.
still the same one, or like a different
No,
one?
it's different, and I think it's actually worse the more I think about it. Like, the more I sit on it, I think the royal version of the ending is kind of fucking worse. Which is bonkers. Because, like, that cutscene should be, like, the ultimate reward for finishing the game. You know what I mean? Like that's what, like, P4, and I don't want to just compare the game to Persona 4, because it's not, right, and it's maybe not fair. But, like, you look at something like the fucking golden ending, and it's fucking perfect. It's flawless. I'm crying, and I'm happy, and I'm satisfied with the experience. And you just compare it to Persona 5 Royals ending, and it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. There's just, like, I don't feel satisfied with the end of the game. I don't feel like you could maybe argue that with, like, especially, like, the like the kind of, like, theming of the game and setting of the game, where it's kind of set up like this, like like thief novel, or like picaresque, I think is like the term for it, like novel. I guess, like, the ending kind of falls in line with that. But also, like, I don't know, like, part of it feels a little weird, where, like, a large, like, part of the end of the game is, like, all about, like, these friends you have and the bonds you've, like, made with them, and, like, they kind of solve your problems at the end. And then, like, the ending is just kind of like, okay, y'all are gonna go fuck off, and then, like, I see you even less than I saw you in the last one, and then you're just kind of gone. And then, like, the most important person in this cutscene now is the red-haired girl. She's, like, the most important person in the cutscene. It's just weird. It's weird. I don't like it very much. I think it's kind of lame. It's kind of silly. It's kind of not great. And yeah, it's, like, the biggest stain on the game is, like, the bookends, which is tough, because I think, like, the experience is really fun, but it's also just, like, too long. Like, I don't know if I will ever play that game again, because I have spent 200 hours of my life playing Persona 5, and I think if I put another 100 hours in, I would kill myself. So, also, the Showtime attacks are, like, 10 out of 10, and are maybe, like, the best attacks I've seen in any RPG visually, especially, like, the 2 Joker ones you get near the end of the game. Like, oh my god, dude, I pogged so hard when I first saw them.
Unfortunate that but yeah, good, cool.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
looking forward to it.
I started playing Royal, so, like, I'm making my way through it at some point.
Hold on. Okay, I gotta. Here's the problem with that, princess. I understand that argument. The reason that I don't think that works is there is no real reason that, like, you have to say goodbye to them like that. Like, I don't know, like, you, like, if that, I don't know, it's just so weird to say that when, like, they're like the like, people can just stay in touch. Like, it's not like he was, like, going to jail, right? Like, I feel like that should be the argument if, like, he ends the game, like, in prison. You know what I mean? But, like, it's just like, oh, he's moving away and he's never going to see these people again. Like, Persona 4 is a game that, and, it's hard for me to say too much about this game because I haven't played it, but I do know the ending. From my understanding, Persona 3 does a better job at being, like, a bittersweet, like, actually having the balls to do something with its ending. And then Persona 4 at least shows that, like, yeah, it is sad, and they do have to split up, and that sucks. But, they're still friends, and they will continue to be friends long after the credits roll. And I don't know if I could say that about the Phantom Thieves. It kind of feels way more like they're, like, splitting up as opposed to...
I mean, to do a possible counter argument, like, Strikers is a sequel to Persona 5 and Royal as well. Like, it was written in a way where it's a sequel to both. So, they do, like, stay in contact.
But that uses the extraneous material. That's not just, like, the way that...
No, I get that. Like, it would still bother me if it, like, was that way in the game. I'm just saying that, like...
Yeah, no, I'm not saying... Yeah, I'm not saying that they don't...
Like,
yeah, and I don't think that saying that they do stay in touch canonically after the game hurts my point, because my point isn't that they're not going to, but it's that is it, like, their bond being strong enough that they will isn't felt as strong in that game as it is in other games in the series. Because, like, other games in the series will just show it. And I feel like there's like it's just such a weird, I don't know. The ending gives me bad vibes, man. Like I don't feel satisfied with the game, and I don't think that the ending is trying to leave you feeling unsatisfied. Especially considering it is a 100-hour game that is constantly telling you to take your time with it. Yeah, Strikers pretends Royal never happened. I'm pretty sure you, like the red-haired lady's like DLC,
where it was like,
which is Omega cringe. Same thing with
could be a
fucking
sequel to
P5T. The fact
either
that
or.
red-haired lady's DLC is so, I hate Atlas, dude. And yet I'm still gobbling up P3R. Give me that shit. All right, none. You go now.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll just quickly talk about like what I thought about Reborn. I won't spoil Craftsdwarf on the final arc or anything. But I did reread the series. It was like a previous, used to be a favorite. I wouldn't really say so anymore, but like I still really liked it. I like it more than the last time I read it, because the last time I read it, I think it had quite the drop off for me. Like I really wasn't as into a lot of the family members. Like the only ones I really liked after reading that, like that time before, was like Suna, Gokudera, really just those two. I think like I really didn't even like I wasn't that big on Yamamoto. I'm still kind of not, like I still do think he's still kind of like could be stronger for being like in the position of the family that he's in, but he's still like decent. Like I would say like like of the main group, the only one that I don't care for like at all is just Chrome still, and that's never changed across like any reading I've done. But like I think some of the slight jump ups are like Ryohei, which like I always thought he was like, aside from Chrome, like the weakest, and he still is kind of. But like I think he's like funny, like he's actually just like charming in his own way, and like
he's super dumb.
yeah, like the thing he has with the one guy in
Kyoko?
Inheritance.
No, no, never mind.
No,
Oh
the
yeah,
other guy
yeah,
who's like the boxer, where like
yeah,
they're
yeah.
just both like really stupid, but like there's that panel where the guy says like, I'm an idiot that accepts the fact that I'm an idiot, which is just like a great
It's
panel.
really funny. Yeah.
Lambo's also like super like charming. Well, not kid Lambo, but like I really like adult Lambo, which is technically just teenage Lambo, but he's called adult Lambo. Like he's really good. Like I really like the thing of like him always, like, even though he doesn't want to fight, when he like knows that he literally has to, he like accepts that, and like on some level he always acknowledges that he knows that it would have come to this anyway, so he was like ready for it. Like that's always like super cool to see, especially even in like the gag part of the series, where like there's that ghost that looks like him because it's the ghost of Bianchi's boyfriend, like Romeo. Like the ghost of Romeo like actually shows up, and he like actually tries to fight for Suna in that like gag chapter. And I was like super into that. Like I always like whenever he like adult Lambo appears. And like other than those two, I think there's just like a steady rise for the the main group. Suna's really good. I think what caught me off guard most about Suna when I was reading like the gag stuff was like he's really terrible. Like he's really like actually just kind of like unlikable at first, which like isn't a problem or anything, but it's like this is the first time where like I started Reborn and like I just kind of wasn't into Suna, but like as he changes and stuff, it's like really good. But like I've never noticed like the contrast as much. Like I was like curious, like I was surprised when I was like listening to the men show when like you guys were like already in Suna's court from the start, which like is fair, but also like I wonder if like if he just doesn't come off the same way because like you guys didn't know like who he became later.
Maybe because we had no context. So
Because I think like there was like times where like he was like being like really shitty towards his mom. Like he was like I don't know. Like it was just like really weird to look at.
do you remember any specific instances of that, or like just one example of him being shitty towards his mom? Because like I probably would have framed it as just like he's a kid embarrassed by his parents because parents are embarrassing. So,
I can't remember a super
Okay.
specific instance right now.
that's fine. I was just wondering.
But yeah, I really liked it. Varya's like definitely unfortunately better than Future. Future
Yeah.
definitely like is a super mixed bag for me like reading it now. Because like a lot of like the training just like isn't super engaging, and then also
Mm.
like the antagonists, there's so many of them that most of them aren't going to be memorable, but there were like some standout moments in Future like here and there. But like obviously like the series does just get way better after Future. Like Inheritance and Curse of the Rainbow are just like the best stuff, and like after I read those two arcs it made me want more, because like the manga's finally at its best, but now like it's about to end. It's like I wish there was like
Hmm.
another arc or two or something. Not because I think the conclusion isn't satisfying. The conclusion is like good. Like I actually like I don't think you know this craft, since like you didn't engage with Reborn or anything, but like the ending is like kind of controversial ish.
Okay.
Like people don't aren't a fan of the ending, even though like I actually think it like works perfectly for the series. um and then there's also like things about the ending that's like not clear, but like based on the context of like Future and some other stuff, you kind of like have a clear idea of like you know what's gonna happen. um
Hmm.
Not to say too much, but yeah, as soon as cool. In the last two arcs I really feel like he really like came into his own and was like actually um really good as a leader, and really good at like having clear direction of what he wants to do, because like um a lot of Future he's always just like Shoichi or Spanner is just kind of coming up with the plans. But like Inheritance, like when he's like when Yamamoto gets hurt and he's like, okay, we're gonna
Yes.
bust in here, we're gonna go after these guys. It's like the most he ever takes charge up to that point, and it's like really good. um and then Inheritance takes that even further, which is just like I'm really excited for you to get to that stuff. um
Oh, you mean the Curse of the Rainbow?
Curse of the Rainbow, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because we already. I was like, hold on, the Inheritance one already came out, right? Like,
Yeah.
just making sure.
um
Because yeah, it's the best arc. Inheritance is the best arc I've read of Reborn. So and yeah, we'll finish our thoughts on it. Because I think I'm gonna start reading it Sunday, the last arc. So we'll talk about it. So you'll see it like 2 weeks from now. Or no. Um, yeah, 2 weeks from Sunday rather. So yeah.
yeah,
Um,
super good. I love Reborn also has the thing that's like the secret like best thing you can do, which is just like really late into the series just suddenly introduce like a character that's basically the main character's like new best friend. Like ReZero does that, Sao does that, Reborn does that. It's
okay,
just like the best
ReZero is
thing
nowhere
ever.
close to the end.
Okay, well, you're right, but like be pretty decent way into the series and just suddenly put
I don't even
that
think
kind of
that's true,
character.
but I don't have
Yeah,
a
it's
scope on
like
the light novels,
volume,
so yeah.
like if you mean Garfield.
No, I mean Auto.
Oh yeah, I guess that's fair. No, because Otto's first introduced in season 1, gamer.
Well, he's not Subaru's friend. Well, I mean, maybe. No.
He
Like,
starts
they're not.
becoming. But like, yeah, it builds the friendship by then. But I would say that like even then, where season 2 of ReZero ends, genuinely kind of feels like the fucking like, I don't know, like
I just mean, like, have
at the
a
latest it's like
decent
the
amount
end
of
of Act 1
arcs
of the
and then
overall
just.
story. Like,
Well,
at
first of all,
the latest.
Alicization for Sao is, like,
I'm
pretty fucking
nobody's
deep into the
debating
series, because the
SAO.
final arc. Luna is.
Okay,
That's
well,
literally what he's saying.
you
Like,
know. he's silly.
Of the arc after,
Yeah.
like the stuff that was adapted is like the final thing. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean, as far as like length of the series, like I don't know how long Unital Ring is yet, and I mean, Alicization was pretty long. Like I think it's, I don't know, but
Yeah, I
anyway,
mean, yeah, like it was at least like 8 years into Alicization being a thing, so I think it's fair for that one, or into SAO being a thing.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
I think he's spitting on that one.
Is Suno still one of your favorite characters?
I actually don't know. Like I'm still thinking about it. I'm not fully sure. Like it's one of those things where it's like very like either borderline or not, but I don't know, because like part of it is like a nostalgia thing, and then also like I am very fond of him. It's just like I, it's hard for me to say. I don't know.
Oh,
Good
Unital Ring is not the last
series.
part of SAO. Never mind. Okay. Apparently, I don't know. I heard otherwise, so but it was a while ago. Um, so before I get to my thing, so I just want to answer a couple questions directed at me. But has Craftsdwarf at least started Raincode? I don't know what Raincode is. I've literally never heard of it. I'm
It's the
very fucking confused.
Danganronpa people's game.
Oh, I never, literally, still never. Oh, now this is the first I've heard of it. So
Well,
no, I
that
did
one
not.
looked more interesting than the other one that you heard of and mentioned one time.
That was like World End Club or something like that with the
Yeah,
kids, or maybe I'm mixing two things
yeah.
up.
Raincoat seems more, like more similar to Danganronpa, which I mean doesn't necessarily make it better, but I don't know. It seems more interesting to me.
Okay. And then Wano video. So the biggest reason I haven't been able to start it is one, at first I kind of was like, I just didn't want to edit it because it was really long, but I had trouble finding editors. So eventually I just said, fuck it, I'll edit myself. And then after that, I went to Sweden and I got sick. So it's been, and then work's been super busy. So like I've had to work Saturdays and stuff. So I just, it's going to take 3 hours to fucking record the video. So I haven't recorded it yet, but it's all scripted. And once I record it, I'm going to just start chipping away at it, editing. So it's coming, and I have one other One Piece video, definitely, a second one after that one and one, or after that one, or a third one after that one and Wano maybe. So best case scenario, you will get 3 Craftsdwarf One Piece videos this year, but we'll see. Wano's going to take a while because it's a long video. So yeah. Anyway, so my thing, Mickey Mouse is a fucking punk ass bitch. I'm just gonna say that right now. So I started watching Disney movies for reasons that maybe I wonder if anyone could guess them. I know Vindy knows. None probably knows. Or at least he can. Yeah, but I mean, I've been meaning to watch the Disney movies for a while anyway. But so I started watching them, and I was about to get to Fantasia, and I was like, I want actual fucking opinions on Mickey Mouse as a character. So I started watching the Disney shorts. I'm currently in 1931. I've watched about fucking, hold on, how many? Probably like 30 or 40 of them. And I mean, I'm at the point where they're starting to get like a little better. But like, Mickey Mouse is a fucking dick, dude. Like, holy shit.
What the fuck?
Dude, he fucking sexually assaults Minnie. I'm not even kidding. I should
Wow.
not be comparing him to Dennis fucking Reynolds. Like, so in fucking Plane Crazy, like he literally like takes Minnie on a plane ride and he tries to kiss her. She hits him. He then goes through a bunch of like fucking crazy loops and shit and scares the shit out of her and tries to kiss her again. Like he's literally like, it just made me think of like Dennis, like the implication, and it's like, but he's not even making an implication. He's just making it fucking. He's literally worse than Dennis Reynolds. Like he's fucking, hello, So then he also just abuses the shit out of animals often. Like that's literal sociopath behavior. I don't know what to. Anyway, so yeah, but no, seriously speaking, like I don't know, they're fine. Like there's some, I mean, okay, the first ones aren't like they get better. Like I guess slightly. I'm slightly getting more interested in them, and they're actually like making me laugh at times. But I thought I had more to say actually. But Yeah.
Alrighty, gamers. So is that the end of the episode? The end of the stream, I
Yeah.
guess. All right. Just a quick check-in with chat. How did y'all feel about the first streamed weekly? Did it do the job for y'all? It actually kind of just ended up being just a dead ass weekly.
Basically, yeah. We talked about comments. We had a topic.
Yeah. There were images
two
on
topics.
screen when we talked about it. Yeah, it's just a fucking weekly, dude. How did y'all feel about it? Okay, they hate us. And actually, I think it's like a couple seconds behind. They just whatever. Yeah.
Also,
so
actually, I've been thinking about that real quick because Master Student mentions Mickey is an animal. So because I keep thinking about that one sort of thing where it's like Goofy's a dog, Pluto's a dog, but especially in the early ones, it's like the line is already very blurry. Like there's literally a short where it's like when the owner's away or stuff like that, where Mickey, Minnie, and a bunch of like actual like rats that look just like them go into a house that's bigger than them, even though like late in the ones I'm at, they just have houses. So like Mickey's a mouse that wears clothes, but also in some of the early ones he's also literally a mouse. And then like he'll be like driving a horse wagon, and the horse is itself like it's not it's not as human, but it's still like the line's already fucking blurry. I don't know, I've been thinking just something I was thinking about while watching it. But yeah. Anyway, now people have opinions, so
yeah.
So if you have an editor,
So sorry, okay, my brain died. Yeah. Next week, same day, probably similar time, maybe a little bit earlier.
Probably earlier because this one started late because I finished dinner and I was like, I'm gonna watch the One Piece episode. Oh, it's a fucking hour long.
Well, let me actually see when I work next Thursday, because that also will change, No, I work in the morning, so I'll be off. So yeah, probably a little bit earlier, probably 8:30 Central Time, so that's 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 PST, or 6:30 PST and 7:30 Mountain for everyone in the U.S. If you're not in the U.S., I'm sorry, I have no fucking clue. But yeah, so around that time, a week from now, we will be back. And if you are, I guess, watching the VOD of this, next Thursday, at those times, we'll be here streaming. Come stop by.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter. We'll be sure to announce it then. So, or X.
Hell